G'day everyone, welcome to the 2020 lockdown review of the 2020 Lowrider S. Now my bike that I'm about to show you is quite custom. Before I picked it up I did a lot of work to it, brand new out of the store, and I can say that the boys over at Harley Davidson Fielding in Manawatu, New Zealand did a grouse job in setting this thing up for me. Now I am 6'3" and about 115 kg, so I needed to change a few things on the bike. I'll run those through now. Okay, so here is the 2020 Lowrider S Custom. And I say custom purely for the amount of stuff that I've done to this bike since it left the showroom, or in fact before it even left the showroom. I'm going to start with the tyres. Now I've gone for a Metzeler 888 on the front, and I've gone for a Metzeler Cruise Tech on the rear. Now the reason being that I took the original tyres off from brand new is the fact that although they're quite good in America for American roads, I don't believe they're suited for New Zealand roads. Now I ride quite aggressively, and I wanted the tread and the type of tyre to accommodate that. Now the Cruise Tech has such an amazing capability of grip. With all of its different rubber compounds in the tyre, it is an absolute weapon in the corners. But moving on from the tyres, if I start at the front of the bike, and we'll go to the, you might already notice that I have black wheels, gloss black wheels. Now that's because that, like the badge here, the wheels came out bronze. Now, I don't like bronze. I don't think it was a good choice for Harley to do so. I understand why they did it, but for me, I didn't like it. So before the bike even came to me, I had the wheels taken off and powder coated black. As you'll see, they actually look a whole lot better, in my opinion, on the bike than what the bronze ones did. And the Low S before that came out with gold wheels, as you remember. Again, not for me. So after powder coating the wheels, we'll go through these upside down suspension, or what I actually believe is probably the proper way to have suspension, is an absolute legend in the corners. This thing in the corners does as it's told. It's that simple. So really impressed with what Harley did there, turning those around, making them far more user friendly, especially for aggressive riders like myself. Now, move up to the screen. Now, that comes with a bikini fairing. Not a huge fan of the bikini fairing. So small and a little bit on the, I don't know, a little bit on the sissy side, I believe. So I've gone for a club style screen, which is a Harley Davidson club style screen. Now, these actually come clear. But you can't, you can look through them, but you never do. So where your eyes sit on the road, you'll never actually look through the screen. So I blacked mine out with some nice easy wrap. Some nice black wrap. I think it ties in really well. Moving on from there, I come down here. Here's something that they should have put on factory, but this is called a rad guard. Now, it's to stop the stones and everything coming off your front wheel punching holes into your radiator. I've heard of guys punching their radiators, losing oil, next thing you know, the bike blows up and they have to replace it with no warranties. So, quick rad guard here, bolted on all the way down to the bottom there, which gives you ample protection of that radiator. Bars. Now, these bars are what they call in New Zealand hammer downs. They are a 16-inch high bar, 2-inch fat, accompanied by some Avon grips, which are very close to the Harley Getter grip actually. And the Harley Getter grips are an outstanding grip, but I actually think these are better for half the price. So as you can see, good size. Moving along the bars now down to my little lazy upgrade. We got here cruise control. Not factory for the bike, but it was an easy fit for about 450 odd New Zealand dollars. I also blacked out my levers And we've got tiny little indicators in there, which I'll see if I can turn the bike on, give you a look at how they work. So tiny little indies. Bright enough for everyone to see where you're going. Now we move down to the flush mount caps. Now the flush mount caps are a must because I believe that they are absolutely ugly when you look at the line of your tank and you see the line of your tank going down and there's this big knobbly thing in the way, which is your standard gas cap. So I had mine changed out. It wasn't a huge expense. The fuel gauge in these bikes are actually on the screen now. So you can see it down there and the amount of Ks I've ridden because of the lockdown. We haven't been going very far. So no need for the left hand side to show the fuel like they do on the other ones, as it's now all integrated into your speedo hub. Moving through the bike now, let's go down heavy breather. Probably the biggest heavy breather you can get for the Milwaukee 8 engines at the moment. Not much to say about those really. I did put the rain sock on for two reasons. One, because New Zealand weather, and two, because it hides the red of the air filter. And when you stand back and look at your bike and you see this gaping big red lob on the side of it, it just put me off. So the rain sock is good for both those reasons, and have been dyno tuned and tested to not lose any performance out of the bike once the rain sock is on. Moving down. The pegs. I went with some Willie G pegs. Now I like a longer peg instead of the people that are using the the Harley Davidson 80 grips. They're a shorter peg, maybe a lot more grip. I like to be able to pivot my feet on my pegs, and a longer peg gives me a little more room for my big fat foot really. But the clue was in the title when it comes to a lowrider race. You will, without a doubt, scrape your pegs. And when I was 2 up, I did manage to just clip the bottom of the exhaust there, and the kickstand on the other side. So the clue is in the title. They are low, but they've actually got more clearance than my last 2015 Fat Bobs. So the cornering on this thing and the lean angle is absolutely amazing. The pegs I just use as basically a guide, and I've allowed for peg replacement once a year. So basically the same as tyres. The other upgrades from this here is, obviously you've seen the pipe, which is a Bassani Road Rage 2. Sounds cool, you'll get to hear that soon. I have taken the baffle out, I've taken the baffle wrap off and put the baffle back in. So without the baffle it sounds absolutely disgusting. With the baffle in and the wrap on, it was too quiet. With the baffle in and the wrap off, for me, it's perfect. It is a 114 bike, so I did go ahead and stage to it. So we've got the heavy breather, the pipes, and it's got a Screaming Eagle torque cam. Also blacked out my risers, making those coincide with the rest of the bike really. Moving on, I have set it up for 2 up, so I do have passenger pegs, and the Saddleman seat, although probably isn't for long distances, is an absolutely amazing seat to ride with around town or short trips. You are not going anywhere once your ass is planted in that thing. Moving forward to the back of the bike, I do have a quick release sissy bar that just clips on for the back, keeping your passengers, well, there when you get to your final destination. But I haven't got that on at the moment. So the other thing I want to move around to is the lay flat number plate. Now this isn't an actual lay flat number plate, this is the original bracket. I've taken it into the workshop, I've cut off the back of it, I've bent it over and made it fit all nice. And the other thing I did was I actually painted the back of the number plate black, so there was no light reflection from the silver plate bouncing off the back of the back guard. A little bit of adjustment in the workshop, bends it over, lays it flat, makes it look good. Integrated tail light, no rear indicators. They are there, and I'll show you, they're actually in the tail light. So that's where the hazard's on, obviously. You've got the indicators integrated into the rear light. And they work very well. People know where I'm going. If they don't, they hear where I'm going. Alright, we'll move around the side of the bike. I'll try and keep this video short so you guys get bored watching it. Here's something interesting. Harley now do a already integrated charging plug for your battery, for your trickle charger. So I thought that was quite good. They don't supply you the charger, of course. That's an extra cost. So go down there, there's a dirty big 114 sign. We have some heavy duty power leads, spark leads. You can't go wrong with more spark. So apart from that, I think that's pretty much the gist of what we've done to this one. Hang about, I'll get it started and we'll go for a quick skid. Let's hear what this thing sounds like. Probably not going to get the great sound coming through the speaker here, but it's straight off a cold start. Right, hang in there guys, we'll go for a quick ride. Quick review of the 2020 Lowrider S on lockdown.